This is a short presentation about the relationships and sex education curriculum, which has become statutory in the last 12 months and must be implemented by all schools by September 2020. PSHE stands for Personal, Social and Health Education, and there are two other acronyms which you may see mentioned in school guidance. This is PSHCE and PSHEE, and you'll see the words for those below. The legislation has not changed for 20 years, which is a long time in any field, but particularly in education when things have changed so rapidly and so profoundly over the last 2 decades. SRE, Sex and Relationships Education, has been taught in schools for many years, and legislation in 2000 sought to make this more standardised and to ensure that it was tailored to the age and demands of the children at that time. The guidance which has been issued in 2019 is particularly controversial because for the first time the guidance becomes mandatory. Previously, the curriculum was non-statutory, although most schools still taught sex education. The relationships aspect was very tailored or was omitted. The changes have been gradually implemented over the last 12 months. There's a list here of the different changes and how these will affect parents. Primary schools are still not obliged to teach sex education, but in my experience, all do. Currently, parents are still allowed to withdraw their children from sex education lessons. In the future, this may be questioned, but it will still be allowed. So please be aware of this when your child will be having this element of the curriculum taught to them. However, you will not have the right to withdraw your child from relationships lessons, and this is a key change. In independent schools, PSHCE has been a major part of the curriculum for many years, and this will continue to do so. All schools must now have a policy on relationships education, and it's worth pointing out that as a parent you have a right through the Freedom of Information Act to request to see any policy. Many schools have these posted on their website anyway, but you can request to see them if they are not done so. There's 2 places where you can find further guidance, the NSBCC and also the link at the bottom of the screen. One of the most difficult areas for Christians is the inclusion in the curriculum for the first time of LGBT as a teaching point. And it's important to note that this doesn't just mean that it's going to be taught within relationships education, but that the government promote that this should be promoted across the curriculum, particularly in subjects such as English and in history. The new curriculum for the primary age range has 5 main titles, which I have included here so that you can see the kind of things which are being suggested. And I suggest that the most difficult one for you as parents would be the 3rd one, respectful relationships. For secondary age children, again there are 5 headings. Online and media, I would suggest, would be one for you to look into. We're all aware of the pressure and the desire teenagers have to be on their mobile phones, and this is an area where you should be particularly aware of your responsibilities. Obviously, the headings are a lot more personal and go into greater detail. Some of the most difficult elements for Christians is the way the government has associated with particularly political groups such as Stonewall. This document has been created, as you can see, with the support of the Government Equalities Office, and it's published by Pearson, a very well known and widely respected educational publisher. And I've included a quote here from somebody who said they'd been bullied, apparently, since they were in year 2. These are the kind of statements that are commonly found in this document. Twinkle is a well-known educational resource online company, and they have been asked by Stonewall to produce a whole range of resources relating to the LGBT agenda. The ones that are on this page are all suggested for Key Stage 2 and High Key Stage 1, the bottom right one on the two dads. The news isn't all negative. I've included 3 paragraphs here from the document which gives us guidance on those of a particular religion and belief. You may be aware of the Jewish and Muslim communities and their views, which have been widely reported in the press. And we should, as Christians, be prepared and, by the Lord's help, seek to stand against the things which are being promoted in a gracious way. And I think these 3 paragraphs give us some help in this way. This is a main paragraph from the Equality Act, which was passed into law in 2010. This is obviously a long period, and this sentence is found commonly at the beginning of many school policies and documentation, but I repeat it here so that you're all aware of what the law states regarding equality. This slide refers to various key facts and allows you as parents to think about what you can do. Please do read this carefully and remember that whilst we must be respectful and show a gracious attitude in all our dealings with the teachers of our children and with the head teachers of our children, we do have our rights even today, and that we should seek to use these as we can with the Lord's help. On this slide, you can see a list of questions, something that we need to refer to when we are thinking of approaching the school of our children. I hope you find it useful. I think this is the most important slide of all. It's very easy to become heated or controversial, or when we're worried about what our children are being taught, to be aggressive when we speak to the education professionals. As one myself, I've often been on the receiving end of some very ungrateful and unnecessary comments made by parents. Please do, when you seek to approach a school in any regard, but particularly over this sensitive issue, that you remember the polite letters, which each of them have very important points, particularly the third one, that we should look to the Lord for all needed help and strength, because in our own strength we will fail entirely, but nothing is too hard for him.